Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Winter's Glow. I took a short break for some family events, and now I have returned to continue sharing the journey of creating this painting with you. I will be continuing with painting the branches that will be carrying the heavy snow later on in the artwork. You will see me adding that. And I will just continue painting these leaves in the foreground for this part of the video. I may speed up some of the video because it allows me to add more content to one session. What makes this painting special for me is the fact that it is a family member and their partner. They are enjoying a beautiful day in the forest up north, and it's just a very heartwarming scene, and I'm sure has many cherished memories for them as the painting now sits on the wall of their home. On the left side here, I continue to add just a little splash of green here and there, just to make sure that I have the position of the branches right, and it gives me a bit of a guide for all that snow that's coming in later. Now I decide to work on the hair a little bit and just add details to this area of the painting while I let that section dry. Jay actually has the most beautiful curly hair, and I feel a little bit disappointed that I only get to paint a small amount of that in this painting, but who knows what the future will bring. I do love the challenge of some of the highlights and the details and the shadows when painting hair, but the hat that Jay is wearing is actually quite detailed as well, and I want to do my best to try to make it look as realistic as possible as a woolly hat, so that's going to be a fun challenge regardless. I am now working on Dee's glasses, the sunglasses that he is wearing. So just as carefully as I would want to paint someone's eyes to make it believable, I really want to get these glasses looking as believable as possible too. I'm just going to add in the block areas of black first, and then try to refine the edges and just get the shape just right for the angle that he is facing. Now I'm going to use the black paint while I still have it on the brush to define some of the area underneath the hat. And as I define the forehead, I will also be able to see more clearly how to get the position of the glasses accurate. So I just have to make all of it balance together nicely and just get all these lines in the right place so that it just works out just right and looks accurate. There is actually some snow on top of his hat too, which makes it a bit tricky because right at the top edge there's some snow. But yeah, it's fun to face the challenge and figure it out. I'm also using a very tiny bit here of some color and defining, I think I've made a very faint gray, just trying to define where his mouth is as well. And I think he had a little mustache. At this point, after applying so much black around the face, I want to give it time to dry, so I've moved to a different area of the painting, and I've moved to using a sponge so that I could add some colored texture into the background of where the distant leaves and foliage are, just behind some of those trees. I'm continuously looking back and forth to the photograph and the painting to make sure that I get a rough shape that resembles at least what the background foliage looks like, in order to replicate that a little bit. But at the same time, I'm also going with one of my fun techniques of using the sponge and knowing that it's going to leave a slight effect of snow because of the gaps in the sponge, how porous it is. And I'm just trying to balance it out between the effect of little tiny leaves on some of the small trees and bushes in the background. When I use the scraping motion, I am trying to create the effect of tiny little branches in the distance. Some parts of the video have been sped up in order to increase the volume of content that you get to see. I have switched the paint to a darker green for more of the foreground texture, and I'm applying it at the bottom of the tree here. However, I will probably be wiping some of this off. I'm just sort of getting a feel. Sometimes you have to add the texture and then remove some of it, but it still allows you to have that nice texture you got with the sponge, and also supporting the fact that there is snow on the ground there, and just getting the right shape is a balance between applying the paint and sometimes removing some of it. Because of how white the background was previously, I can really see the snow on the branches in the distance and the bushes in the distance coming through now, and really it's really creating that effect with the sponge. I just love when that happens. In future sessions, videos, I will be adding more white into the background, but for now I'm just trying to achieve the general shape of the images in the background of the bushes and the distant trees to match the photograph. After adding quite a considerable amount of texture with the sponge, I'm going to want to let that dry and move down to working on the ground and adding some more snow down here. I'll be playing back and forth between the white and the grey to get the shadows from the distant trees on the ground in just the right places to match the photograph. One of the things I love about acrylic paint is the ability that you have to paint over. And so this allows me the flexibility of when I'm, say, putting sponge texture in an area, I can go overboard a little bit, knowing that I can come back later and make adjustments. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm covering over some of the sponged area in order to create more of the snow on the ground, looking through the trees. I'll most likely go back and forth, adding a little more sponge texture as I go also. So here I am blocking in some of the grey areas for the shadows, and then I will get some white paint and apply some of that and start blending some of it. After applying some more grey and a little bit of white to the edges of that, I will probably wrap up this session. We've managed to get a lot done in this little session of the painting. In the next episode, I will share more of how the foreground snow evolves, creating the depth, the shadows, blending, and just generally working towards making this snow look as realistic as possible. If you've enjoyed this episode of Winter's Glow, but you haven't seen the other episodes on my channel, please go to Art with Janine Liza on YouTube and find the playlist Winter's Glow. If you're enjoying the content on this channel and you'd like to help support it, please feel free to click the subscribe button. Thank you for following along with Winter's Glow. I look forward to making the next episode and sharing it as soon as possible. Thank you so much to my subscribers who are helping my channel grow. Winter's Glow Season 2 Episode 7 will be coming soon.